Now, of course, as many will know, with the increasing number of illegal boat people coming over here from the safe country of France, they are no doubtly adding a burden to our public services, such as the NHS, for example, and obviously with waiting lists about as long as your arm, or in my case about as long as mine anyway, that is the last thing we need. So it appears they've come up with an idea to fix it, but it's one idea which actually, rather than fixing it, is just going to pit us all off. So what do I mean by that? Well, just listen to this.
There's things like the input to hospitals, doctors, dentists, the facilities we have. We're already fairly stretched, I feel, in the area. Is that going to be something?
So my understanding is they're contracted with GoDoc, which I think is the sort of nighttime service. It's a private doctor's system. And my understanding, that's not a statement. But that should mean they won't be putting weight on our
so
local
they won't be impacting on the local surgeries or the local doctors.
We're on 3 years waiting list at the hospital, and we're finding out that our services that's given to taxpayers in the UK isn't good enough. And they're in Bradford. Are they really seriously on
again, well, let's find out. I think it's important. Is it a burden on us? Is the council paying for that? I know the council are getting some funding to support this.
Yes, that's right. While the rest of us have to wait in ever long queues to see the doctors or whatever, they seem to be jumping the queue by potentially getting private healthcare. But the article even says that locals in Altrincham, hope I pronounced that right, Greater Manchester, have been told that migrants being housed at a hotel in their town can access private healthcare. It just makes me wonder, has this bloke accidentally let us slip a nationwide policy, or is it just only going to be happening there? Either way though, I'm guessing he's not going to be exactly too popular with Labour if indeed he has leaked this out, and it is going to be happening all over the place. And we all, if we want to access private healthcare and skip the queue ourselves, it's going to cost us an arm and a leg, but presumably these guys will just get it all for free, along with of course everything else that they seem to get. And, you know, in my opinion, kind of creates an even more two-tier society, which, of course, is the last thing we all need. So how did all this come about? Well, it says that Mr. Evans was responding to a question from an attendee who asked how hospitals, doctors and dentists would be affected by the housing of some 300 male migrants at the Cresta Court Hotel, and this comes after the Labour government said it would end the use of hotels to accommodate asylum seekers, although the Cresta Court Hotel's use is newly created apparently, according to Sky News. And if that hasn't peed you off enough already, then Rob Bellingham, the Chief Officer for Commissioning at NHS Greater Manchester, said we have a duty to secure the provision of safe and appropriate NHS care for people while their asylum claims are being managed. Well, just send them to the back of the queue. If it's good enough for us, then it surely is good enough for them. And yes, of course, we're obligated, unfortunately, with our tax money to pay for all this. At the end of the day, that should be good enough, but NHS Greater Manchester has made arrangements with a local primary care provider to assure asylum seekers who have arrived very recently receive the immediate care that they need. And Mr. Evans claimed that residents have so far been met by a wall of silence from the Home Office, the NHS and the Council on raising questions about the hotel's use to accommodate migrants. At the end of the day, I don't know about you, but if I was fleeing from war, then I'd be happy wherever I could go. And in fact, actually, I'd be thankful. I wouldn't complain or demand better accommodation or things like that. But unfortunately, with quite a lot of these illegal boot people, it just seems that they've kind of missed the memo with that, doesn't it, eh? And locals learned about the new arrivals after bookings for meetings, wedding receptions and other events were cancelled, so the hotel could be clear for the migrants to move in. Just think about how much taxpayer money is going to have to pay off the hotel to cancel those events. And quite worryingly, it says the hotel is near two girls' schools, which admittedly, whilst I'm not trying to say that every illegal boot person is a criminal or anything like that, there will be a lot of them who more than likely will be, especially as they've got slippery fingers, it seems, and quite a few of them, as far as I'm aware, do have a tendency to drop their phones in the sea, along with any ID papers, of course, thereby making it harder to see if they've got any criminal records. So the last place you're going to want them is near a girls' school, isn't it? Because unfortunately not everyone out there is a nice person, and that, is what a lot of lefties don't seem to understand. And at the public meeting, one concerned resident asked if there'd be a curfew on whether the asylum seekers would be able to wander around after 7 p.m. But the community police officer Colin Dreiter, hope I pronounced that right, in the comments quoted by Sky said, "We can't just lock people up who haven't committed a crime. We live in a very tolerant and open society, and we have to continue that." Altrincham and Sale West MP Conor Rand said he had been assured checks had been made on the men, though, by the Home Office. And yes, we've all seen how they've handled things in the past. It just makes me wonder how thorough these checks indeed were. And yeah, I don't know about you, but now they've got private healthcare, it just makes me wonder what other freebie they're all going to get next, eh?